The winner of the 2025 Booker Prize is Flesh.
And his publishers and supporters making his way to the podium now. A story of a Hungarian young man who moves to London after serving in Iraq. And a handshake from Roddy Doyle. Time to accept his trophy from Samantha Harvey, last year's winner. And a hug. David, can we make you say a few words for us? A few words, if you don't mind. I know she's taken the trophy off you, but you can have it back very shortly.
Wow. I think the first person I would like to thank is Alison, the wonderful publicist at Penguin Random House, because she made it very clear to me that I should prepare a few words a few days ago, and now I'm wondering what she knew at that time. Or maybe she just says that to everybody. I'd also like to thank the judges, of course. I think I felt Flesh is quite a risky novel, a risky book. It felt risky to me writing it. And I remember Hannah Weston, my editor at Jonathan Cape in London, when we were talking about the title of the book maybe a year ago, wondering aloud whether she could imagine a novel called Flesh winning the Booker Prize, which speaks to something risky about the title, which we felt at the time, I think, and something risky about the book itself in some ways, or unusual, certainly. Anyway, Hannah, you have your answer, I guess. And I think it's very important, this sense of risk, which I keep coming back to, and which was there throughout the process of writing the book for me, and throughout various discussions when we were editing the book and deciding on the title and stuff. There was a sense of risks being taken, and I think it's very important that we did take those risks. I mean, obviously, it's easy for me to say that now, but I felt that, I think, all along, because I think fiction can take risks. I think it's one of the things that it can do. It can take aesthetic risks, formal risks, perhaps even moral risks, which many other narrative forms can't quite do to the same extent. I think part of the reason for that is just that novels are so relatively cheap to produce. All you need to do is keep one writer supplied with coffee and a few other essentials for a year or two, and you've got a novel. I mean, it's almost free, which means these risks can be taken. And I think it's very important that the publisher, the novel-making community, if I can put it like that, embraces that sense of risk rather than shuns it. One person who definitely doesn't need to be told to embrace risk is my agent, Anna Weber, who I hope feels vindicated in her own risk aversion by a second consecutive Booker winner, which I hope that inspires in others the sort of strategic patience that Anna has always been willing to she has been so patient with her writers and has taken risks in the sense of taking on writers who aren't perhaps immediately, obviously, going to be winners tomorrow or next week, but who knows, maybe 10 years from now. I must also thank Bill Clegg, who I'm very happy is here, my US agent, and who has also been a wonderful supporter of this book from the very beginning, and my US editors, Kathy Belden and Anne Graham, who unfortunately aren't able to be here, and of course, Hannah and the entire team at Penguin Random House in London. The sense I've had all along of them being fully behind the book has been wonderful to me. This wasn't necessarily a very easy book to write. I started on it just after abandoning another novel. And so there was a very great sense of pressure, as you might imagine, to make this book good, because I think while it might be okay to abandon one novel, to abandon two would be quite difficult for me to deal with psychologically. And I didn't always cope that well with the pressure. I didn't always cope that graciously and that wisely with it. And the only real witness to that was my wife, Oshoya, who is also here this evening. And I just want to thank her for sharing that experience with me. And I'm sure she is as bewildered as I am by the fact that those rather bleak times and this glittering evening are somehow part of the same process and the same experience, but it seems extraordinarily that they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wait there.